Hello, everyone, and good evening. I am so excited that you are here with us tonight. I am honored because we are highlighting this month. It's Black History Month, and we are highlighting some influential African Americans in our community who made a difference, the accomplishments, highlighting their lives, the achievements, and how they made a difference to us. And so with us today, we're going to learn who is Mary E. Bryant. Mary Bryant Elementary is a school in our West Chase area, and it's in her namesake. And we're going to learn all about her tonight. And guess what? I'm so honored because I have her son, Mr. Lionel Bryant, and her granddaughter, Miss Kiana Bryant, with us here today. Welcome, Kiana and Mr. Bryant.
We're happy to. Alrighty, so I wanted to get started, and I also want to just introduce myself. I also want to just make sure that I'm heard clear. Can everyone hear me? Miss Kiana, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Can every thumbs up? Can you hear me, Miss Angela?
Yes, go ahead. You're good.
Okay, just alrighty. So who is Mary E. Bryant? Mary E. Bryant is, but she is also so much more. And we're going to honor her for Black History Month, which is 23. The legacy and life of Mary E. Mary E. Bryant was raised in Tampa, Florida. Growing up, my grandmother always knew she'd be an educator. It was like a natural gift for my grandmother. Miss Bryant graduated from Middleton High School in 1951. She did go to Bethune-Cookman College and FAMU to earn her doctorate before she got her bachelor's of science in elementary education. She did begin teaching career in 1955. She went to Douglas Brown Elementary, which was in Oak Ridge, where she met her husband, my grandfather, Theodore Bryant. Also started teaching primary grades in 1960. She also was, and then when she went to lead Philip Shore, she began that before, but she in that position until about 1992, where she's the assistant superintendent of support service. Mrs. Bryant was given the honor of being named as the state of Florida's Ida S. Baker Award, and after more than about 35 years of serving school district of Hillsborough County and 40 years of education, she retired in June 97. Decades later, her presence in the education system and out are still felt to this day. Miss Mary E. Bryant is a leader, a lover, and was always pushing your best. Mary E. Bryant is my grandmother, but she's all models still to this day. Everyone in our family called her Nana. Is my inspiration to stay in the education field to this day. I am currently a fourth in Gainesville, Florida. Last year, it was my very first year teaching, and I still powerful and honored to be able to honor my grandmother as I taught and to enjoy every single minute. I was also able to find my calling. My colleagues who knew and they still knew of my grandmother, even if they didn't know her personally, that she was made for that. She was made to be an educator. Then I also am made for this also. All of my natural techniques or comfort and knowing kids will always just be so comfortable with just calling me Miss. It does show me that my grandmother, she still walks with me every single day. linking kids to become leaders. Grandmother, she established Project Link in April of 1989. She was basically making sure that the organization learning, growing truancy challenges, kids misbehaving, or kids losing their interest in what we all need to be interested in, which is our education. She wanted that we drive our kids to work. She wanted to make sure that the youth hanging out, being productive. She wanted to make sure that they had productive and positive motives in their near sight. During those times, the children Tampa, they were bused to 12 different schools across the county. If you believe, you will achieve. That was a very, very quote that my grandmother always let me know that if you can believe it, you definitely can achieve it and you will achieve it. So Project Link, it was formed with a relationship with these schools to basically bridge the gap. The parents and the administrators, they wanted to enhance academic achievements. They wanted to improve attendance and they still wanted to build a strong relationship. To date, Project Link has served over 128,000 families throughout our county. She contributed to a lot of children becoming active members in their communities and in their schools. Pictured to the left on my screen, that was I call them my angel babies because those were my first year kids. I was a fifth grade teacher and I honored my grandmother because I wanted to make sure that her legacy lives on every single day. She is the reason I feel as if I'm unstoppable. She made me know that I am unstoppable. She always taught me, if you believe something, you'll achieve it. This quote I taught my current students and I taught those students last year every single day. My grandmother has made so many other impacts all over the state of Florida. She has had many accomplishments. She was such an advocate, but not just for students, not just for faculty, but also such a loving family member and an amazing friend. So I wanted to make sure before closing out, I wanted to make sure that I say thank you for Hillsborough County, anyone that has known my grandmother, that was taught by her, that even was next to her, you know that she was Black excellence. She deserved to be honored, and I'm so honored and just thankful and grateful that she was able to have a segment honoring her work that she's always showed and displayed during her lifetime. I want to make sure that I'm able to give history and background information on such a prominent woman in education, and she happens to be my grandmother. My dad, Lionel Bryant, is also a huge part of education in Hillsborough County, and my education, and his son's education, and his education, and everyone he talks to. I wanted to make sure that when you see Black educators all around Florida, you give any type of student hope. Hope to see that we are all able to achieve our goals. We are all able to do whatever we want to do if we put our minds to it. I would love to end my presentation, which was just a very small, a very small summary of so many things my grandmother has accomplished. But I did want to make sure that when you guys realize that we didn't have to be able to learn, we didn't have to be able to get books and read and do anything. But when you put your mind to it and you never ever give up, you can be honored also. So just because my grandmother was so prominent, everyone can be if you put your mind to it. So I want to end this very short presentation on such a honorable woman, such a very important woman. So I wanted to say Bryant, but I wanted to start off with B, because B, you have to always be your best and be the best that you can be. My grandmother always said, be your best. Because when you feel your best, you are your best. When you are your best, you do the best. When you do the best, you will be the best. R, responsible. She was always responsible. She was one of the most reliable people I have ever met in my entire life. And she was so respectable. Everybody respected her, but she was respectful to everyone else also. Why? Youthful. Even though she grew older and older, she was always keeping each student, each child, each person first. Youthful was always in her spirit, no matter how old or how far she got in life. A, she was amazing. She was very articulate, very aligned with her goals, with her religion, and very always aligned with whatever she put her mind to. She always succeeded. And she was very, very accurate. She never, ever steered me wrong. Very accurate in all of her decisions and all of her life goals and all of her life achievements. She was very, very, very accurate. And she never gave up. She was very nice and very notable. I wanted to make sure that I say never gave up because she never gave up. T, she always took everyone to the top, not just herself, not just us, her family, and not just anyone she was around. Everyone that she talked to, if you were on the side of the road, if you were the top person in the company, she treated everyone the same and she wanted everyone to get to the top. And I wanted to make sure that I ended my grandmother's very short presentation, but very long history, very deep history. And I wanted to make sure that I am letting everyone know that I'm thankful, I'm grateful for this recognition of my grandmother. And it is such an honor to share just a few and some parts of her legacy. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much, Kiana. You did a beautiful job. You did make your grandmother very proud. I'm sure she is smiling on you. That was amazing.
Thank you, Miss Angela.
Thank you so much. I want to ask you some more questions.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know if your dad can chime in. I want to, as we attempt to gain a little bit more knowledge and understanding of Mary Bryant Flood, can you tell us a little bit more about her leadership position in Tampa?
Dad.
And you can take the you can stop sharing your screen so we can see your beautiful face.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Dad.
Lionel, if you want to take that.
Could you repeat that? Because your volume is really low.
Okay. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the leadership position that she held in Tampa?
Okay, well, yes. She started her administrative duties at Philip Shore Elementary as a principal, and she moved over to Roland Park Elementary as a principal. After that, she went to become an area director. And after that, she went on to be the assistant superintendent for supportive services downtown.
Was
I
that
think,
a first? Was she a first?
yeah, yeah, I was first African-American woman for that position. Yes.
So men, history shows, and you alluded to it a little bit, that African American people continue to overcome obstacles and barriers. Talk about, one of you, if you will, some of the ways that she successfully overcame some of her own adverse situations.
Well, like Kiana was saying, my mother was very religiously based for her thought process. So she had everything that she was doing. She prayed upon it first before starting any kind of I'm talking about anything. It didn't have anything to do with church, but anything to do with school, anything to do with just regular life. She always prayed about it first, and she just kind of let the Lord take her and guide her. And she also had a relationship with Mary McLeod Bethune. That's something that's pretty amazing. That in 1951, when she got to Bethune-Cookman College, she was chosen to be an escort for Mary McLeod Bethune around campus. So she would tell me that Mary McLeod Bethune would talk to her about leadership, would mentor her about future things that she should be doing, because the motto for Mary McLeod Bethune University is "Enter to learn, depart to serve." So she was taught that as a college student. She took that in her adult life.
Okay, that is amazing. That is in itself just amazing that she literally was an escort for Mary McLeod. For some of you don't know, it's a Bethune-Cookman College is named in her honor. So when you think about some of those obstacles, what do you have to say to those who don't see the relevance in celebrating people with those, celebrating those, honoring those type of
I
Well,
think I think that honoring anyone is always very important, but I think that, like you said, it should be instilled in everyone. I think it should be like a routine. We should always honor, and it should be like an excitement to honor people, like anyone, like us, like my grandmother. It should be an honor and always like something that we should always do on a regular basis or annually or even monthly. We should do that like so often. What were you going to say, Dad?
I was going to say that the the amazing thing about this entire journey is that when my mom retired, she had the choice of any destination on the planet. And when I do a presentation at Bryant Elementary, I ask the students, I posed the question, I said, what city do you think Mary Bryant chose for her retirement celebration? And obviously, you get a lot of Las Vegas, you get Miami, you get Puerto Rico, Los Angeles, New York, and nobody could guess. Nobody could guess. So I explained to them that she chose to go to Jerusalem. So she took my father on the journey to Jerusalem because she told me and my family that she wanted to walk the streets that Jesus walked. She wanted to touch some of the items that she touched. So as she was in Jerusalem, she called us back here at home. My brother was still alive, and she was telling us that the Lord was telling her that her name was going to be synonymous in Hillsborough County forever. She didn't know why, she didn't know how. The school was not named after her at that time. This is something she had no clue that the county was going to name an elementary school after her. But she was saying something that she was getting that message. So a few months later, when they announced that they were going to name an elementary school after her, we all kind of looked at each other like, I guess you know what you're talking about when you're talking about God.
that is a great story. That is amazing that she had and being in touch with what was going to come to pass. So, Kiana, I know you shared a little bit, but what are some of your fondest memories of your grandmother?
I would say my fondest memory would always be every Christmas. Um,
Tell
each
us about
Chris
that.
each Christmas we would host it at my grandmother's house in Carver City, which was near West Tampa. So we would all gather, but it didn't really seem like Christmas. It seemed like a family birthday or a celebration. She always made everyone feel loved. We all had presents. We all had too many, but she always made sure that instead of Christmas, she always said, what is the first few letters of Christmas? Christ. She would always instill Jesus is the reason for the season. You got the presents, but you're still blessed. If you don't have presents, you're still blessed. When you get presents, you have to be thankful. If you don't get presents, be grateful, be thankful. So it was always still a celebration, although she spoiled everyone, all of her grandchildren, children, brother, anybody she had that was around her. She made us feel loved, but she never forgot the message. It was always Christmas was my best memories, not because presents, not because we would, oh, have fun, but I would be excited for my Nana to teach us. She really taught us about God. She taught us about just being thankful of life in general.
That sounds amazing. So I, in my own little history buff way, went on Mary Bryant Elementary School, and we do have Matthew Cooper here, who is the assistant principal over at Mary Bryant Elementary. And I was scrolling down because I just wanted to know. I couldn't wait till today. Like I'm kind of
Me
nosy. I just
neither.
wanted to know, right? And there's a wonderful video that when she was still here that a student interviewed her and talked about her achievement, talked about different. He has different questions. He was a very good reporter. And
Very,
she used to always talk about in that video, she's always talking about how she loved the children. Like she does everything she does is for the children. And then she talked about her own children. So at the time of the video, I'm not sure, she talked about how many kids she had and how many grandkids. Are there more? Like, so Lionel, could you tell me about your family? Like how many brothers and sisters and how many grandchildren and how does she manage all of that?
Well, we were, I have two brothers. One is deceased now. So she had three children. Um, my oldest brother has four children. Um, then my next brother has two children, and I have three children. So that's the grands. And then now, as we speak now, we have expanded into great grands and great great grands. So
Wow.
the family is expanding to the utmost. So she is looking down on all of her grands and great grands, and just I know she's very proud of what everyone is doing. She
How
is
do you
still.
all, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I was gonna ask, with the grand, because at the time it was grandchildren. I think she said nine, about nine or so at the time, grandchildren, and then there might have been a few great grandchildren. So, how do you all explain her legacy and share that rich history with the future, with her future seed?
I know I always tell my nephews because I'm a teacher. I'm a fourth grade teacher. So I always tell my nephews that I tell them this, and they always say, Auntie Kiki, I don't want to hear this, but I say it. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And I think the reason why I say that is because of my Nana. I truly believe that she was so like just influential, but how I live through her and she lives through us and she walks with us, she covers us. She really is like our guardian angel. But I know like one of the main messages and what I always try to like spread to them, teach them, make sure they know that knowledge is power. So I always tell them that our Nana, if you get bad grades, she gonna be disappointed. She wants you to be excited. She wants you to be happy. She wants you to be in those books. So I try to tell my nephews, Carmelo, Kyrie, Justin, I try to let them know that you didn't get to really know Nana how I knew Nana, but she's still here. She's still right next to us. She right here. She watching over us. But you have to know that knowledge is power. So to me, that's one of like her mottos that I try to instill to from me, from my dad to me, to my future children, my nephews. I try to let them know that knowledge is power. She did teach me that. That's one thing that I remember every single day. I use it every single day. And to me, that is one of her most powerful messages that she still, to me, gives us every single day.
Yeah, you talked about her always saying, "Be your best. If you believe it, you will achieve it." Did you find it growing up having to? Did you real? Well, let me put you're young, and so did you realize the greatness that your grandma had even at a young age?
Yes, I did. I was very outspoken. I'm 5'2" and I'm like 110 pounds. But a lot of people say you got the heart of a lion. She gave me that. She the only reason how, like, if I ever was to doubt anything, I would always make sure, like growing up, I was about 14 or 15 and I ran track. But I used to be scared because a lot of girls were taller, bigger, stronger than me. But she always would say, girl, it don't matter, you faster than them. So like when I would be very just doubtful or just anything, I was just even young, I would see her impact. I would see her strength. And it came to me very quickly at a young age.
So I have a question, because I know we talked about her leadership in terms of like education, but what was Miss Bryant like in the community? What was she known for doing? Where did she go? What did she enjoy? Tell me about her presence in the community.
Okay, well, I'll take this. First of all, a lot of people, many people probably don't know that she was the musician for our church. She was the pianist, and she was also a vocalist in our choir. She was very, very strong when it comes to you have to be about music. Uh, she was one of the founding members of HAPSI, which is the Hillsborough Alliance Black School Educators, as well as Project Link. In our community, she served as we had in our Carver City community. She served on the board for our Little League. She served on the board for our youth football league, that as well as when times got rough um, in the 90s in our neighborhood, she actually took over the corner store so she could put a positive influence for a few years in that also. So she had a major impact in our community and in the West Tampa area community. But as I saw somebody said in the chat, she grew up as a child in Hyde Park, and she did attend Dobyville Elementary. This is going way back.
Oh, Dobyville Elementary. Yeah, we're gonna learn a little bit about Dobyville too. Because like you were saying, Kiana, history throughout the year, knowledge is power. And someone wrote that in chat. Library cards can change the world. Knowledge is power. And people are saying, yes, taking notes. Someone said in the chat that thank you, Miss Kiana Bryant, for sharing a bit of Miss Mary E. Bryant's achievement with tonight. The Tampa community and the state of Florida is lucky to benefit from her contributions to education as well as your entire family. Because we do have two teachers, seeds from Mary Bryant that are teachers now. You have all positively impacted so many children's lives and their children and grandchildren. Thank you, Bryant family, for your dedication and sharing your grandmother's inspiring story with us tonight. And Miss Kiana Williams, who asked that question, I wanted to introduce her before she spoke, but she is our African American and multicultural coordinator in Hillsborough County Schools. She is the one in charge of all of the activities that we are having for this month, and she is doing such an amazing job. I'm so glad that she has this platform tonight. Are there any? And also, we have tonight with us joining in is our executive director, Dr. Felita Lewis. Ms. Lewis, do you have any questions?
Good evening, Mrs. Fullwood, Ms. Williams, Mr. and Ms. Bryant. I don't have any questions, but I would like to say that it's just I'm just so happy that we've actually started off the Black History Month Power Hour series with Mary Bryant for a number of reasons. But I know that Lionel knows this story, but I'm not sure if any of the others know this. But I actually saw that school be built from the ground up, because we lived in Westwood Lakes, and my son, who is now almost 28, was a second grader when Mary Bryant opened. And he went there second, third, fourth, and fifth. And so I was very excited when we found out that the school was going to be named after your grandmother, Kiana. And I had done the history on it. And then fast forward to now, 2022, when I met Lionel and found out that that was his mother, I was like, oh my God, we were so excited when we found out about that. So I do have a personal connection to Mary Bryant Elementary School. But then to just look at how cyclical the world is, Kiana, I grew up in Gainesville. I started my teaching career there in Gainesville, and my mother retired from teaching there for 48 years. And so, and you're there. So I definitely have to connect her with you because
Yes, ma'am.
because her grandson started at your grandmother's school the first year that it opened. So
Yes,
I just can't tell you how ecstatic I am that we have so many things in common and that we opened up our 2023 Black History Power Hour series with Mary Bryant.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's such an honor. And so many accomplishments that she had, and just being present and impacting other educators in our district who look up to her, who followed behind her footsteps. We have a lot of leaders who knew her and were mentees of her. And so you can see her woven into different people in our district.
Right.
All right. So now, since this is Black History, I wanted to ask both of you, and it doesn't matter which one of you who goes first, but I guess I'll start with you, Mr. Bryant. What does Black History Month mean to you personally, and why do you think it's important for everyone to learn about Black history?
Well, it's pretty obvious that the establishment of this great nation that we live in was almost. I'm not going to say. I'm going to say, as African Americans, the contribution to our great nation is historic. The suffering, which did produce endurance, the endurance, which produces character, and the character, which produces hope, is what our race and our people stood for. Actually, that was the Bible verse for the Bible app today. I was looking at that, and I was saying, "Wow, that's such a great verse in the Bible," because the perseverance that our people have went through, and now the great things having the 44. And I'm gonna sidebar real quick, Angela. My mom's, one of her greatest days ever was when Barack Obama was named president. She literally cried. She got an email personally from him, which I still have, thanking her for her contributions to his political campaign. So that was one of the things that and she kind of really pushed us to always support Black history. Obviously, we are both products of historically Black colleges and universities. So that is kind of a no-brainer for us as a family. And I've always been a proponent for, well, I would say Black History Month, but just, and that's just because that's our race. But Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody, this is a great melting pot of a nation. So everybody that contributes in a positive manner should be recognized. And I'm proud that we have a month to celebrate all of the great accomplishments that so many of us and so many of our family members, as well as people across the nation and across the world, have accomplished to make this world a better place.
Oh,
I agree, Dad.
yes, I love it.
And I think that Black history, for me, I would say that Black history is American history. Being a graduate from Florida A&M University, it's evident that we have to know that Black history is American history, but it's everybody's history because we're all a part of the same world. We're all human beings that have the same 24 hours. We all bleed the same blood. So Black history is American history. And like my dad said, I do think that this nation is not only amazing because of Black people, Hispanic people, Asian, whatever you are. But I think that Black history is American history. So 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, we can honor it whenever you want, because I think that every month we could honor any accomplishment from any African American, anybody that did civil rights, anybody that did education, athletics, inventions. Black history is American history. So I think that it's very important, very vital for every child to grow up knowing that our history, Black history, is American history.
Hey, Angela, let me add on really quick, really short.
Okay.
One of, and this is something that I have to say before we get off this Zoom. One of my mom's greatest assets, one of her greatest skill sets, was that there was no race that she did not help. I don't care if you were white, Black, Hispanic, if you were a person of character and you needed assistance to get a job, to get a food, to get an apartment, she never turned down anyone. In 1985, when she was the principal at Roland Park Elementary, which is in Carver City, Florida, a predominantly Black neighborhood, there were over 500 students at that school in 1985, and there were only 66 African Americans. So that will tell you her impact that she had on not just African Americans, but just every race and every gender. She had no boundaries. It was colorless to her. So that's one of the greatest things, and that's why I'm so proud that the school that's named after her is out in an affluent area, because that was her life.
Yes, and you can see it resonate. And watching her say, when the boy on that, if you go to Mary Bryant School, the school website, the video of her, you can tell that passion that she had. He said, "Why do you do this?" And she said, "For the children." Like, it was all about the children. She didn't say Black children. She didn't say white children. She didn't say Asian. She said, "For the children." That meant all children. And so I do appreciate you saying that, Lionel, and pointing that out, because that's what resonated in me, like her passion just for people. And you hear it in her voice, and you see it over her continent. It really resonated with me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is amazing," and I'm just so honored and so happy that you all were able to be with us tonight. I thank you all so much for your time, and highlighting, and I thank you for just sharing with us the amazing things that she did. I wish I had known her in my day. Like, I'm so sad that I didn't have the chance to meet her in person. So
I feel like me and my dad and every Bryant, not just Bryant's, but any of her family, we wanted to say thank you to everyone, not just Miss Angela or Miss Lewis, anyone. We are just honored because my grandmother really did, like you say, all children, anybody, any person, any race, any color, size, or matter. It doesn't matter. Long as you were a good person, it was the content of your character and not how you are, not how you look, but who you truly are deep down inside. So I did want to make sure that before we do close out, that I want to say again that we are thankful, we are grateful, because we want to keep her legacy going. And she was one of my most important people in my life. Still to this day, I say thank you, Nana, for praying for me, because I still feel the prayers to this day.
that's wonderful, and we will keep her memory alive, all of us. And as we, as administrators for Hillsborough County Schools, just model after her, and just hope one day that we make a mark on this continent as she did.
And
I
we
feel
will.
like that's all of our goals.
We will.
We will. So with that, I'm going to send you, thank you again. I'm going to send you all the YouTube channel. Please grab a hold of it and subscribe. This session is being recorded and will be uploaded. You will get a notification, and ding, 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 that is there, and share it with everybody. Let them know, hey, Mary E. Bryant. She's
She's
the
an amazing woman.
amazing woman. Amazing
Check her
woman.
out.
The first, she walked with Mary McLeod Bethune. Yes, learn all about her. And there's a school out in West Chase named after her. Why? You'll find out when they watch this video. With that, I want to tell everyone good night and God bless you.